Hello, welcome to Yin Yoga on this 11th day of January 2022. So for today's practice, we will start with the strap. We'll also do some stuff at the end with the strap as well. I recommend a couple blocks or a very firm cushion for something we're going to do with those. And then, you might need cushion, folded blankets, different things like that. As we go along. So as always, your body is your best teacher. I'm just your guide. So if we're doing something and you know that that's not good for you, just take a break. And if you need to come out of something earlier than what I cue it, please listen to your body and come out early. It's not a big deal. So as we get going here, let's find our nice opening. So maybe sitting in a comfortable position here, and something that I'm learning as I go through my pranayama breathing coaching practice too, and I just kind of became aware of it. Sometimes sitting in a tall seat is not always good for everyone, especially if you've got low back issues, or if you're like me, maybe some abdominal weakness from a surgery. So if any time you might see me sitting, if it's better for you to lie on your back and come into these opening practices, please feel free to do that as well. So be where you're comfortable here. Good. I'm going to take a slight tuck in my chin. I'm relaxing through my shoulders, even though I'm lengthening a little bit more through my spine, and I'm trying to relax a little bit through my hips here as well. As I breathe inward, that nice big inhale, find some expansion in that rib cage. And then slowly exhaling it out through the nose or the mouth. Good, we'll take that again. Big inhale and expand. Exhale and slowly release. Good. We'll do that a little bit more guided. So we're going to inhale for 5. So big exhale to prepare for that. Good. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Pause, retain here for a moment. Now we'll exhale for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We'll go again. Inhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Release 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Normal breath here. Soften somewhere in the body that needs a little bit more softening. We'll take the fingertips to the side, palms turning up. Inhale, reach, 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 and lengthen nice and tall, turning palms away. Grow taller or lengthening a little bit more. And we'll go again. We'll take it up. Big inhale, reach, 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 taking palms together. Exhale, hands to heart center, creating an intention for your practice. So I'm going to give us the intention of happiness or joy. And that can mean different things to you. For me, since my surgery, a lot of anxiety, kind of the day-to-day anxiety and worries have actually disappeared. That's not to say that I don't have any anxiety. We all do as part of the human experience. It's just different, and it feels a little bit different. So I encourage you to tap into your own happiness and joy, whatever that would mean to you. Mine is the less anxiety. And once you have that set, we'll lift. And we'll grow taller here. Good. Now, if you went onto your back, go ahead and come back up to a seat. We're just going to prepare. So from here, big inhale, reach and lengthen. Exhale, I'm going to take a side bend to my left. And I'm keeping both sits bones rooted. Good. And I'm just reaching here. I'm breathing and expanding. Gaze is where your neck needs it to be. And then from here, you're going to choose your path. Do you stay where you are? Do you come out? Do you choose to side bend deeper? Do you choose to open a little bit here towards your ceiling? Or do you choose maybe belly button in, a little bit of a C curve roll here, forehead in the direction of the knee, but not touching? And if you're taking this option, I'm also reaching from my shoulder to my fingertip here. So I'm making this nice and active and purposeful. Good, and when you're ready, We'll inhale and lengthen. Exhale, use your abs if you can, coming all the way back up. And we'll lower. And inhale and lift. And we'll take that over to the right. Good. Finding your side bend here. Breathing and expanding. Good. And then you choose your path, staying where you are, coming out. Maybe you side bend deeper. Maybe you choose to open. Maybe you do something different than you did on the other side because that's what your body needs. Maybe you take that C curve roll, forehead in the direction of the knees. Good. So stay where you are. Excuse me for a moment. So I'm having froggy throat issues here because of all of our crazy weather. So I'm just going to take a drink of my water. Yes, I have a big jug of water. It's got different times on it. That's helping me stay hydrated as part of my healing. Good. And then from here, when you're ready, we'll open and we'll come back up. Take a big inhale, reach, reach, reach. We're going to take a gentle twist to the left. So be mindful. You want to twist from length. Once you are at your twist, arms will come down here. See if you can roll both shoulders back just a little bit. Maybe moving that chin a little bit more behind you. Breathe and expand. So as a reminder, any kind of twist you do, seated, on your back, standing, what have you, you should be able to expand your rib cage. If you can't, you're too deep into your twist. Big inhale and lift. Exhale, come to center. We'll keep our arms up. We'll reach nice and tall. Big inhale. Exhale, we'll take that twist to the other side now. Arms will come down when you're at your limit, rolling shoulders back, looking a little bit more behind you. Breathe and expand. Find joy with your breath. Find joy and happiness with the gentle rotation. And then inhale, we'll lift. And exhale, we'll come to center. Good. I'm going to take my thumbs inside my wrist here, my hands, and I'm just going to roll. Good. And then I'm just going to let the arms come down. And when I get about shoulder height, I'm just going to reverse that direction. Good. Okay. From here, just a little bit more shoulder opening because we're getting ready to get into the shoulders. So we'll take our arms out to the side here. Good. And just find some rotation. Good. So I still have imbalances, even though the shoulder is a lot better since I haven't been doing anything with it for 4 weeks or so, but that's okay. Yeah. And then from here, we're going to come up into goal pose and we're just going to move forward and open. Try to keep the rib cage in. So we don't want to pop out and we don't want to round. And you're just going at your range of motion. We're just warming things up here. Good. Good. Now, from here, I'm going to take my arms out to the side. Hands are going to come to my shoulder caps, and I'm just going to use that as a nice way to get a different kind of movement. So I'm just going in a circle. And then if you're happy here, you can stay. I'm going to reverse my circle. Good. All right, and then from here, just kind of shake it, shake it, shake it out. Now we're going to take our strap. Good. So I've got a plastic D-ring here on mine. If you've got a metal one, even plastic sometimes can be unpleasant too. Just be mindful on that end where it might kind of flop around here. So I'm going to thread my strap between my thumb and my pointer. And you want to come wider than shoulder width apart. And this is important. We're going to move forward and back, working on range of motion. So if your goal is to come to the top of your hips, you want to keep long arms when we do that. So we don't want to compensate by bending the elbows. So a wider grip will be needed. Again, always listen to your body, only go where your range of motion is. So from here, I'm just going to come up and I'm kind of tugging here a little bit tight here. Good. And I'm just going to come back. I'm just coming slightly behind my head and I'm feeling that nice stretch there. And my belly button is in, my rib cage is in, and then I'm going to take that back forward. Good. And I'm keeping that tautness and we'll take it again. Maybe you stop right there. Maybe you come back a little bit more. Maybe you're like me and you're sensing, if I want to go back to my hips, I know I'm going to have a wider grip here. So I'm going to go ahead and find it and then come back forward. Good. Now from here, just get a nice smooth motion, stopping where you need to stop, which might be to the hips, it might not be to the hips. Just go at your pace, your range. And you might notice for some of you, your range of motion increases with each pass. 100% normal and is almost always true for me. Good. Now from here, take your strap to the point where you feel that sweet stretch and opening, and that might not be at your deepest range of motion. So for me today, this is my sweet spot. Even though I can come all the way down here, my sweet spot is actually up here. So find yours, and we're just going to breathe and expand for a moment. Relaxing through the face. Good. Sometimes smiling actually brings more relaxation to the face. Good. And then when you're ready, we'll take that back up. We'll release. Keep this strap fairly close. We're going to come back to it towards the end. Good. And we're going to move right into our practice. So we're going to move into a child's pose here, and I'm going to give options for different people because some of you may not necessarily like the option that I'm going to do. But so if you need knee cushion in your child's pose, you know, always provide yourself for that. I'm just going to take this one out to the side here. So what I'm going to do is I want a little bit more opening, a little bit more lymphatic opening, that is kind of through this area and the armpit. So when I do my child's pose here, I'm going to rest my arms, my elbows, whatever's comfortable for you on these blocks. And I'll show you, there's a couple ways that you can do it. Now, if you don't have blocks or you need something softer, remember if you've got blankets here, so for example, here's blanket stacked, you can do the same thing here with a softer surface. Same thing with a pillow or a bolster. But I'm gonna start here. Now you can have this level or this level. If you wonder about stability being here, or you feel like you need more surface area, come down. I'm gonna be up here for a moment. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take my knees where you need to take them for your child's pose. That might be as wide as your mat. That might be a little bit less than that. So you wanna find it. And where your blocks go, again, is gonna depend on you. So everyone has different lengths of the arm. And I'm just gonna come down here and I'm gonna work myself here. I'm not gonna come into my full because I want my body to kind of settle in. But this is one way you can do this pose. This is another way you can do this one. Okay, this one feels a little bit more intense. And then some people like to come out at an angle, kind of like a V, if you will. So you can take your blocks out to that side at the angle. And for me at the angle, because it kind of gets between my mat and my floor, the higher one is a little bit unstable. So I'm going to demo this with the blocks down. And you can come this way. Okay. Now you can also do this without the blocks. If you don't want to do it that way, that's fine too. Again, be mindful as how you feel. So some of you are going to feel more comfortable if your hands are more towards the ceiling. Some of you are going to feel better if your hands are more towards the floor. For me, it's not so much about my shoulders as it is with my elbow. So if your elbow joint doesn't like something that you're doing here, it doesn't make sense to stay there. So change it up. So for me, I'm going to come back to center. Good. Now that we've discussed the different possibilities, and we're going to be here for 2.5 minutes. So that's the other thing you kind of want to think about too. Where could you be for 2.5 minutes? Good. So once you're ready, remember, we don't want to drop into our fullest. We want to take our time to get there. We're breathing and expanding. I'm drawing up from my pubic bone to behind the navel. So another way to say that is you're drawing up between your sexual and for a woman, it's, you know, your urinary tract muscles. You're drawing all of that up and in. Another way of saying that is belly button into the spine. As you begin to sink into your stillness, bring that awareness back to your breath, steady and at ease. Maybe slower and controlled. And come back to that intention of happiness and joy. So I mentioned a little bit of my personal happiness and joy with a lot of worries that just left my body that I've been dealing with, not just for a few months, but years actually. But as I'm here, something else has come up, the happiness and joy of being able to teach, because I do truly love that. Good. So we've got about 1 more minute left here. As your body wants to settle and sink deeper, that's fine. Do that on an exhale. So you know when you've gone past your limit, if you can no longer be in the pose itself, steady and at ease, pain-free, numbness, tingling free, and your breath should still be steady and at ease. So if all of those things are not kind of meshing together, we've gone too far. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. So for me, the best way for me to come out of here is to move my hips a little bit closer to where my arms are, and then carefully remove my arms from the blocks. Good. I'm going to move my blocks out to the side here. Good. I recommend having at least 1 blanket handy in case you need it for the next thing we're going to do. And we're just going to come belly down, and we're just going to rest here for a moment in this crocodile pose. So I'm going to make a pillow with my hands. Good. I'm going to turn hips, knees, and toes kind of out to the side. And I'm just going to relax the shoulders here a little bit. Maybe a little wiggle of the hips would make you feel good too. We're just going to breathe and just kind of relax and come back to ourselves here. So as you're here, maybe thinking about the last pose and the way you did it. Were you happy with the way you did it? Are you curious and would like to explore a different way next time around? Good. And then from here, when you're ready, we'll carefully kind of come out of there. So where we're going to go from here is some of us are going to come into Sphinx to get some extension, and some of us are going to come into Seal. Seal is going to be a deeper extension than the Sphinx. So I'll go over these really quickly here, knowing you can also have a blanket here for support. How folded it needs to be depends on you and what your body's own needs are. But you want to kind of have your pelvis bone right on the edge of the fold. Some of you won't need it to go across. Maybe you need something soft, but maybe a little bit higher. So maybe you take a folded blanket like this, and then maybe you fold it like this. Maybe you've got a softer pillow with you today, and that's what you choose to use. So some of you might need that support, and that's perfectly fine. So for Sphynx Pose, good. I'm going to take my shoulders either over my elbows or slightly behind. Your palms, I like my palms down for a little bit more connection. If they're kind of up a little bit facing each other, that's fine. But before I come in here, I'm going to lengthen. I'm going to get my belly button into the spine. Good. I'm pressing my floor away with my elbows and forearms. And then as I roll my shoulders back, I'm just going to look forward and just find that extension. So that's your Sphinx. Some of you are going to come a little bit higher into Seal. So for Seal, maybe kind of think about getting ready to do a cobra pose. Take your hands a little bit forward and to the side of your shoulders. You'll lengthen through the low body, belly button's going to be in. And then you're just going to take this to your limit. So some of you are going to be higher, some of you aren't going to be as high. Shoulders are still down in their pockets, belly button is still in, and we're looking forward. Okay, now that one's not appropriate for me to hold for a long time, so I'm going to come down to Sphinx. So always do what you need. We're going to try this one for 3 minutes. Starting right now, find your Sphinx, find your seal. Good, so I'm breathing. I'm relaxing through my shoulders. I'm expanding the rib cage. I'm lengthening through my low body. Remember, find the support under the pelvis or the belly, the lower abdominal region, if you need that support. Good. So even though this is a little active, could you find a little bit of softening maybe throughout the face? Softening through the rib cage as you breathe. And remember to come back to your intention. So a way to bring happy and joy into this, for some of us, the ability to just come into extension, whether you're in Sphinx or Seal, can be a source of happiness or joy. There's a lot of people that can't do that for whatever reason. Good, so we're over halfway there. Remember, when you can no longer maintain good form or good breath, or something just doesn't feel right, we've gone too far and we want to back off. Good. So for me, as we go into the final limit, I'm just noticing from my own body, I'm just going to kind of drop just a little bit here. My shoulders are still in their pockets, but I'm not as high in my Sphinx as I was. You know, it's always okay to back off a little bit. And relax the face, maybe smile. Less than 30 seconds to go. And 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. So we're just going to carefully come out of here. We're going to come back to crocodile. If you had a support prop under yourself, carefully move that out of the way. Come back to that nice little pillow. Maybe a little wiggle here. Breathe and expand. For some of us, that might not be our favorite pose. So maybe we find happiness and joy by no longer being there. That's always okay. I'm kind of 50-50. Some days I absolutely love it. Some days I absolutely detest it. Other days I'm kind of, well, whatever. Good. And so for me, as I lie here, just kind of relaxing to that, I feel a bit of, I'm starting to feel a bit of energy shifts in my body in a good way. So I hope that you're starting to feel those sensations as well. So from here, good, I'm going to take my hands under my shoulders and I'm going to carefully come back out of there. Now, if you're someone that likes to kind of come back into a half or a full child's pose here real quick, feel free to explore that, no worries. What we're going to do next is we're going to come into caterpillar. So this is the seated forward fold. And for mine, I'm going to bring in a folded blanket here to sit on. But that just makes my hips and my low back just a little bit happier. Good. Some of you will use a pillow or a prop here. Some of you will not. I'm going to have mine kind of on standby because I'm not sure if I will need mine or not. But what we're going to do here, and remember, so legs are going to be forward. Some of you are going to take your legs a little bit wider than hip width apart because that's what your body needs. Some of you can take them closer together or together. Completely up to you. Especially if you're sitting up a little higher. Make sure, and especially for those that have tight hamstrings, make sure you're supporting the space under your knees here so they don't kind of hang there uncomfortably in a hyperextension. So make sure you can roll a hand towel, a blanket, something like that underneath there if you need that for support. So take care of yourself. Okay. So from here, I've got flexion in my feet, so my toes are coming towards my face. I'm trying to find a nice tall spine. And I've got an anterior tilt of the pelvis as well. So that just means my tailbone is going to tip towards the back as my frontal hip bones tip towards the front. Good. I'm zipping up and in. Big inhale, reach and lengthen. Exhale, will hinge and fold. So as you kind of come forward, once you can come no forward to the long spine, then take your arms down and allow yourself to come into a little bit of a fold here. So be mindful. Again, also, no need to come to your fullest position right off the bat. We're going to be here for 4 minutes. So plenty of time for you to sink into your space. Take your time to be there. Breathing into that back body. Remember, if you need a prop, like a pillow or a couple folded blankets or something like that, always help yourself with support. Just like in life, when we all need different types of support, yoga, no matter what kind of yoga you're practicing, same thing. Sometimes we need more support on some days and not so much on other days. As your body wants you to sink a little bit deeper in here, just kind of relax through the shoulders a bit. And I'll go ahead and say, I apologize for the email sounds that are coming up. I thought I had closed my email program out. So we're at 1.5 minutes. Remember, your body will let you know when it's ready to sink deeper. And as long as it's safe for you to do that, please feel free to do so. Do it on an exhale. If we're halfway there, remember, it's always okay to come out early if your body needs you to do that. Relaxing through the face. Maybe thinking about head and neck being an extension of the spine. So a lot of times we want to come into this habit of kind of letting the chin drop towards the chest. See if you can lengthen just a little bit here. So from here, to kind of help me avoid doing that, I'm taking my gaze right between my feet, not just because my cell phone timer is there, just because, that is optimal for my head and neck to be in that alignment. One minute left. Breathe into that back body. 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. So remember, our low back is vulnerable here, so we never just want to hurry and snap out of here. So I don't have my bolster today, but I'm just going to kind of use my legs to carefully kind of crawl out of there. Good. Now, once you're completely out of there, just kind of maybe move the legs around a little bit here if you need to. Let's take a gentle rotation in one direction, looking behind us, and a gentle rotation in the other direction, looking behind us. Good. And so we're going to counter that deep flexion with a little bit of extension. We're going to do this a little bit differently today. So you can keep your legs right where they are if you want to. I'm going to bring mine into crisscross applesauce. And the reason I'm going to do that is I'm going to use my knees a little bit as leverage here. So kind of think about a seated cat-cow, where you've got your cow and then you've got your cat, right? So I'm going to use my knees here to kind of press on lightly with my fingers. I'm going to keep my arms long. I'm going to zip up. I'm going to shine my heart forward here into this nice seated extension. So I'm taking my gaze through the ceiling and the wall meet. And I'm just going to breathe here. Good. And notice how this feels compared to the seal or Sphinx extension that we did a moment ago. Should feel less intense for most of us. Good, and then from here, we'll carefully release out of there. Okay, so I'm gonna turn, I'm gonna move my bolster out of the way here. I'm gonna turn and face you now. I'm gonna keep my blanket, my folded blanket, I'm gonna keep sitting on it. And we're gonna come into kind of a half straddle, half butterfly combo, and we'll do this with a twist and we'll get into the shoulders again. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to give you two options. So remember, if you take your legs wide, even though we're kind of doing half here, you want to make sure that you're not coming to your absolute widest off the bat. So an example, here's my widest, here's about 85%, 90% where I want to be. Both legs long is a little bit more advanced. I'm going to take, though, my right foot, think about my right and left, my right foot into my left thigh. Good. Now you can always support yourself how you need to. So we will twist here and fold over this leg. I'm going to give you some options. If that's not for you, remember, you can just do a side bend here. Those of you that want to add the shoulder component into it, this comes from Eagle. So some of you are just going to hug yourself. I happen to have my right arm on top of the left. So you can hug yourself or you can wrap if that's in your practice and your range of motion. So from here, find where you're going to be. Oh, ready? Good. Big inhale, reach and lengthen. Exhale, we're going to rotate towards the left. We're going to fold towards the left. Or a side bend if that's what you need. We're going to try and be here for 3 minutes. If you need to undo your arms at any point, just undo them, not a big deal. I'm breathing and expanding here. And like anything else, you can always come out early. And another kind of a tweak here, if twisting here is just not for you today, come out of that and just do a forward fold instead. You can still get into the shoulders. We'll get into your hips and your inner thighs a little bit differently there. But just know that if you need a different option, that one's always there for you as well. Good. So we're going into the second minute now. We're breathing and expanding. I'm letting my body release when it's ready to release. And again, come back to your intention, happiness and joy. And over halfway there. We're coming into the final minute. Expand as we breathe. Final 30 seconds coming. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So for me, it's better if I undo my arms here and then use my hands to carefully come out of that fold. That might be what you need to do. You might need to do something different, and that's all okay. But from here, good. We're just going to get a gentle rotation to the other side here just for a moment. Breathe and expand. Notice how you feel. And I still feel those nice energy flowing sensations here. And then from here, we're going to take that all to the other side. So from here, I'm just going to kind of switch out my legs. Remember, if you want the more advanced option with both legs out wide, you are welcome to do that. And then from here, good. Big inhale, take the arms out wide. This time, opposite arm is going to be on top. So remember, you can hug yourself or you can wrap yourself. Be where you need to be. Big inhale, lengthen, exhale. We're going to rotate towards the right and we'll fold a little bit towards the right. Now on this side, I just kind of feel myself. I'm going to bring in this bolster here. Good. So always support yourself no matter what it is that you're doing. Good. There we go. And we'll be here for 3 minutes. So as you just saw, sides are very different. You might need a lot of support on one side, not so much on the other. Always okay. And remember, if you fold, if you're taking this fold here, you want both hips to be on the ground. So think about energetically reaching through the other side as well. Sometimes sitting up on a blanket, a folded blanket, can help with that. We're in the second minute. And coming back to the intention, happiness and joy. We're halfway there. That might be a source of happiness and joy for some people. And we're getting ready to enter the final minute. Come back to the breath. Come back to the moment. 30 seconds. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. So again, I'm going to undo my arms here. I'm going to carefully crawl up from there. Good. And then when you're ready, just take a gentle rotation to the other side. This is a little counter move here. Good. And we'll come back to center. So we're going to transition into supine, which means on our back. So I'm just going to move this bolster out of my way here. And have your strap handy because we're going to bring that back in. Good. So once you're down here, and because you're lying on your back, the things that we're going to do isn't really going to impact the head or the neck. So if it would feel good to you to bring a blanket in here or a little bit of a neck roll for some support, feel free to do that. I'm actually doing that with my folded blanket. Good. So what we're going to do here, this is something that we do quite a bit in all of my classes, even Pilates. But what we're going to do with this series is we're going to have longer holds. Okay, so we're going to open the hips a little bit in here for about 30-second holds in each one of these, and then hopefully that'll make the poses that we do after that a little bit better and more effective for you. So I'm starting with the strap around my right foot. Good. Now I've got a little bit of a bend in my left knee. If you're okay with it, you can certainly take that leg long. Be where you're good. Find a grip that's appropriate for you. Let everything just kind of settle down into that socket. Keep a little micro bend in the knee. So what I want you to do here, yes, some of you are going to be bent because maybe this is your range of motion here and you'll come in. What I want you to work on is think about lengthening and then a little bit of a bend. And then a little bit of length and a little bit of a bend. And then that should help you do this one a little bit better over time. Maybe not today, but I'm just going to gently pull this back. I'm keeping that soft knee here and I'm breathing, and we're going to be here for 30 seconds. And 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Carefully back off there. So think about ankle and hip being in relative alignment here. I'm going to take both straps into the right hand. So we're going to take our leg out to the right now. We want both hips and both shoulders to be anchored. Again, a little bit of a bend on that left knee if you need it. Good. So I'm just going to tug in just ever so slightly, and then I'm going to let that leg come out to the side. Good. So remember your options here. You can relax into your strap. You can do that gentle tug towards the shoulder. If your left hip is popping up here, your leg is too far out to the right, lift it up a little bit. That should fix that. And then from here, just kind of relax into it if you can, 30 seconds. Good. From here, when you're ready, using your strap, carefully bring that back in the center. Good. We're going to release your left leg now if you had it bent. You're going to take the strap into the left hand. So different things for different people. So some of you are going to have a straighter leg. Some of you are going to have a little bit of a more bend in that knee. You can choose to do the 45-degree arc over, or you can choose to take that leg all the way over into a twist. If you have trouble keeping your leg in line with the hip, if you're going into full twist, just kind of prop that leg up or something. We don't want to just flop the foot on the floor. So for me, and what's going on in my body today, the 45-degree angle is going to be the best option for me. So this is where I'm going to be. So come into your 45-degree angle or full twist down, and 30 seconds from here. Good. From wherever you chose to go, carefully come back, and we're coming back to center. Now I'm going to remove the strap from the foot. So what we're going to do here, this is in place of our pigeon today. We're going to come into supine figure 4, exact same rotation of the hip, a little bit less intense in a lot of ways. So I'm going to cross that right ankle over that left knee, and different people are going to go different places here as well. So some of you, this might be your place today, maybe lightly pressing on the thigh. Good, just opening that knee towards the corner of your space a little bit more. Some of you are going to come in a little bit deeper. Some people like to kind of thread through here and hold on to the back of the thigh. I like to kind of have a hand on my foot and the other hand just right below the knee, kind of guiding in. So your body will let you know when you should not come in towards the chest any deeper. But you can be here, and some people like to rock a little bit on this one as well. So wherever you want to be, go there. We'll be here 30 seconds. Relax the face and smile. Great work. From here, carefully release. I'm going to undo my feet. I'm going to take my feet as wide as my space. I'm just going to get a little bit of a windshield wiper in here. Sometimes things get a little funky in the pelvis and the sacrum area. And so this kind of brings a little bit more balance and relaxation there. All right, so we're going to do that same series now on the other side. And the purpose of this is to see when we're done going into happy baby and see how that impacts us in a better way. So I'm going to take my strap around my left foot now. You can have that bend in the right knee or extend that leg long. Find what you need. Find your range of motion. And again, you can work on that a little bit, just kind of pressing and lengthen and press and lengthen. And then find your softness in the knee. Good. You'll come into your hammy stretch here for 30 seconds. Good. When you're ready, we'll carefully release. Good. Both straps into the left hand here. Right knee can still be bent. Remember, we want to keep both hips, both shoulders grounded. So when you take your leg out to the left, if this hip is popping up, don't take your leg out as far. So from here, we're just going to gently bring that leg in towards the face, not your full range of motion. And we'll take that out to the side. Good, belly button in tight. Let your abs support you in the stretch. And 30 seconds from right here. Good. From here, we'll carefully bring that back in. Good. I'm going to release my right leg here. I'm going to switch out my hands to remember your options. You can do the 45-degree crossover, or you can take that full spinal twist, coming all the way over, keeping leg in line with the hip. We'll support that leg if you need it, but from just like the other side, the 45-degree angle at this position is best for my body today. So this is where I'm going to stay. Come into the position where you need to be, and we'll be here for 30 seconds. Good. We'll carefully release. Good. I'm going to remove that strap. So now I'm going to put a bend in my right knee. I'm going to cross that left ankle over that right knee. Be at your range. Maybe you're just pressing in a little bit here. Maybe you're coming in closer to the chest. Be where you need to be. Support yourself where you need it. You can rock, 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 or be right here. 30 seconds. We'll release here. We'll take those feet to the edges of our space and we'll rock, rock side to side. Good. So a shorter happy baby or happy adult than what we had planned, but that's okay. So from here, good. I'm just going to kind of bring one leg up at a time. You're in that slight external rotation and my feet are flat towards the ceiling. So remember, you can take yogi toe, inside or outside grip. You're gently bringing those knees to the floor. If this isn't for you today, you can follow me into happy adult pose, just letting the knees bend. Feet won't touch, but you can grab at the shins or the ankles. Find a little bit of length from crown to tail. Belly button is in. Good. And then from here, we're just going to breathe. Let's take 2 minutes. Come back to happiness and joy, just like a happy baby or a happy adult. 1 minute left. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Carefully release wherever you went. Maybe taking one leg long at a time. Woo, feel that release. And then maybe the other side. We'll go into Shavasana from here, being mindful. You can also be belly down on your side or right where you are. I'm gonna use my feet and legs here to help me, bringing in my bolster from down there to place right under my thighs for a little bit of release. Remember, you can always put blocks under here, folded blankets under here. You don't have to have anything under there. Be where you can be comfortable. And then see if you can make yourself about 10% more comfortable based on where you went. Good. Sinking into your space, dropping into your heart center, coming back to happiness and joy. And I'll leave you here for a few moments. Begin to come back to yourself by taking some deep breaths. Choose stillness or gently take head and neck from side to side. Choose stillness or invite movement of the fingers and the toes. Choose stillness or maybe take knees into the chest, choosing to keep the upper body lowered or maybe lifted into a full body hug. And choosing stillness or moving any props you may have used for your Shavasana time out of the way, taking legs long in front of you, arms long behind you, and reach and lengthen from the edge of the fingertips, the edge of the toes, full body stretch, point and flex through those feet, bend and stretch through the hands, rolling wrists and ankles in one direction, and then in the other. And then from here, whenever you're ready, carefully bending in both knees, and you choose rolling over onto your right or left side, the side that works best for your body in this moment. Knowing you can pause here for as long as your body needs you to. But when you're ready, we'll carefully come up to a comfortable seat, whatever that looks like for you. I'm going to bring my blanket back in here. And once you've found a comfortable seat, good. Find a little bit of length in the torso, fingertips to the side, noticing how you feel now versus when we started. Good. And palms up towards the ceiling. Inhale, reach, 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 and lengthen, touching palms together. Exhale, hands in the heart center. Remembering that intention, happiness or joy, for one more time. We'll take the thumbs to the forehead for good and true thoughts, to our lips for good and kind words, and to our hearts for open and loving hearts, knowing no effort on this mat is ever wasted, no gain is ever reversed. May you stay safe, may you stay well, may you find happiness and joy in each day of your life. Namaste.